Hello learners, welcome to TryRide. Today we will be learning about the different thread cycles. Here we will be going to the different topics such as understanding the various states in thread cycle, then describing transition between thread states, and use Java code to translate state changes. There are state changes, and we'll be using the Java code for the demonstration of these state changes, and recognize methods affecting thread states. The different methods are there which affects the different thread states methods. Now coming further, we will be having something to know about thread. Java thread, Java thread, it follows a specific lifecycle model, which is defined in terms of thread states. The main thread states are here. When the thread is built, it's in running new state. When the thread is built, when a new thread is in new state. A thread is in new state when it's built, and it comes to the runnable state. When we put start method on it, and then comes to the running state. When we put run method on it, and blocked and waiting after that we intervenes in time, and the time waiting for the amount of time we are waiting the thread, and finally comes to the terminated state where the thread is put onto end. Now Java provides the thread.state enum to represent these states. There is a thread.state enum to represent these states. Now the thread lifecycle states explained below. There is a new thread. As we studied, there is a new thread. The thread is created and is using thread, but yet not started. This is a new thread created, a new thread created, but this thread is not started. But that thread is not started. And when the thread is runnable state, the thread has been started and is ready to run, but not necessarily running it. The thread has started as ready to run, but it's not necessarily started running yet. Yeah. Coming further, we have the running state. The thread in this state is running. It is executing, that is performing some task. And when it's blocked, waiting to acquire a monitor block. Waiting to acquire when the thread is blocked, it acquires a monitor block, that is about for a particular time, or holding a block, what is holding a lock. And when the thread comes to the waiting state, when the thread is in waiting state, the thread is waiting indefinitely for another thread to perform a specific actions, that is used by wait or join methods. The thread is waiting and is allowing other thread to perform its action until for a given time. Now timed waiting. Timed waiting, here the thread is waiting for a specified time interval, or slept, or join for timeout, or wait timed out. It is actually the thread is for a particular time. The thread is time waiting for a particular time. Yeah, it is timed waiting. It is timed waiting. And when the thread is in this state, terminated state, the thread is actually finished all its executions and execution or was aborted. Yeah, finally the thread comes to the terminated state when it has completed all its executions. Now coming further, we have the thread transition state. When a thread is stated, that is in a new state. When a thread is newly created is a new state. And when we put the start method on it, it comes to the runnable state. When we put the start methods on it, when the thread is we put a start method on it, it comes to the runnable state. When the runnable state is Java scheduler, when this runnable state is Java virtual machine scheduler, it's in running state. When it's in running state, and when the running state is when the running thread is put to sleep, wait, or join method. When its running state is put on by sleep, wait, or join method, it is timed waiting. That is for particular time we have put that thread to be for the waiting state. Yeah. Now coming to the running state. The running state, the blocked or locked. When the thread in running state, it is blocked or locked. It is in blocked state. When we put a block on it or we block it, when we put a lock on it or block it, it comes to the blocked state. Now, when the thread is waiting, means that is timed out with a block. When an event occurs, it's when the thread is blocked, as we have done when applied a lock or block on it, it's blocked, and it's blocked either for a particular time that is timed waiting, or is blocked, or is waiting state. When an event occurs on that thread, when we allow an event to occur on that state, in that on the thread, it's coming to the runnable state. Then it comes to the runnable state, and when the running state, when the running thread is put to run, when the run finished, when the running thread is put on by run thread, when the run thread is finishes, the thread finally comes to the terminated state. When the thread run finishes, it finally comes to the terminated state. Now, for the code for observing these examples, we have a thread. We have a class myThread. We have a class myThread, which extends parents class, supermost class, which is extends supermost class, that is thread, and has a run method for it. Run method, and this run method states that the thread is running. The system router println thread is running, and similarly it has try catch block, try and catch block. Try block when the thread is put to sleep. When the thread is put to sleep. When the thread is put to sleep for 1,000 seconds, it's waiting for 1,000 millisecond. Yeah. Now, when it catches an exception, it uninterrupted exception E, the E dot print string, it will trace some strict, it will print some stack trace. It will print E dot print tracks stack trace. Yeah, it will print an stack trace. Now coming on further, that after that, when the thread is, it will print. After that, it will print thread exiting. When it catches an interruption, if the thread is exiting. After catching the interruption, the thread is exiting. Now public class thread lifecycle. Now here is a class public class thread lifecycle. Public class thread lifecycle stem demo. Which has the main method line, which throws interrupted exceptions. Suppose my thread which started has the object T, which is with the help of my thread, and which has a printing line as state after execution. When the thread is which has a printing line as state after execution, this is the message, plus t dot get state. We will get the state of the thread. When we will get the state of the thread, that is new thread. That is a new thread. We will get the state of the thread, and afterwards we will get, after getting the state, we'll put the thread to start condition. T dot start, that's object dot start. We get to this, coming to the start condition. When we put the start method on it, it will print a line state after start. When it will print a line message, that is message including the message state after start plus t dot get state. We will get the state of that thread, and the state of that state is runnable. It is that runnable state. It is at the runnable state now. And now again we put the thread to sleep for 100 millisecond. Allows the thread T to sleep, and similarly it has a printing line which has a message state during sleep, and we have, after that we can also get the state of that state thread, that is t dot get state. This will give the thread as timed waiting. This will in this condition, the thread is in timed waiting. It is timed waiting for 100 millisecond. Timed waiting is that the thread is waiting for 100 millisecond. Now t dot join, waiting for the thread to die. When we apply this method on the thread, we are waiting for the thread to die. When the thread will complete, now it has a similarly it has a printing line system.out.println state after completion. It has a printing line which states the message state after completion, and here we will get the state of the state thread, that is t.getState, and the thread is terminated. After that, the thread is terminated. After we put it to join condition, put the join method thread, the thread is terminated. It has stopped working. Methods that affect state. There are various methods that affect the state, affect the state of the methods. Thread affects the state of the thread, that is start. When a new thread is put to start method, when a new thread is put on by start method, a new thread comes to new state. When it's put by the start method, it comes from new to runnable state. The thread gets start, and it's come to the runnable state. It's not running, but it's come to the runnable state. And then when we apply the sleep, when we apply the sleep method on it, it is timed waiting. When the running thread, when we apply the sleep method on it, the running thread comes to a timed waiting. That is up that the thread is applied for a timed waiting time. That is for a millisecond time. And when we apply the join method on it, the waiting thread, the thread is comes to the waiting state. The thread comes to the waiting state. Thread comes to the waiting state, and current thread waits for after another to die. The current thread is waiting for another to die until an execution is going on by the other thread. Now, when it comes to the waiting state, when we put waiting method on it, when we put waiting method on it, wait method, yeah, it comes to the waiting state. When it comes to the waiting state, and must be called inside synchronized block. It must be executed inside synchronized block, and notify all. These are the methods when the waiting in which the thread is waiting. And when it comes to the runnable state, when notify method is applied to the thread, it was in waiting state, and now it comes to the runnable state and wakes up the waiting thread. Yeah, here it comes to the it wakes up the waiting threads. And when we apply the yield field, the running state is up comes to the runnable state. When we apply the yield method, then the running state comes to the runnable state. That is suggests a CPU to start switch this thread. This suggests the CPU to start the or move on to the next thread. Now, for the best practices, we should avoid using thread.sleep. For the synchronization. For synchronization purpose, we should avoid using thread.sleep, and we should prefer using higher levels concurrencies, that is API like executors, logs, or countdown latch. When managing thread state, when we want to manage the thread state, we should apply API like this, and always handle interrupted exceptions. We should always handle the interrupted exceptions. Now, coming to the end, we have the summary. That is Java threads lifecycle states six main states. Java thread main lifecycle states six main states. The lifecycle transitions are controlled via thread methods. Lifecycle here they're controlled via thread methods like a start or start run, all these methods. And use thread.getState for debugging. We should get for getting the state for in which the thread lies, and for this we should use thread.getState, name of the thread.getState of the method. And we should understand synchronization impact on other. That is, we should understand different synchronization state impact of the state. That is, it implies the blocked or waiting. We should understand synchronization impact on the state. That is blocked or waiting. I repeat. Now practice writing the debugging on multi-threaded code. You should practice writing and debugging the multi-threaded code. Now coming to the end, we're going to end to the class. Now we'll meet in the next class. Thanks.